Hello, everybody. Welcome to iExamB. Today we have Yash with us, and he has recently cleared RBI Grade B exam. Congratulations, Yash, from the entire iExamB team. Yash, can
Thank
you
you.
give a brief mention or brief introduction about your profile and how you came to know about RBI Grade B exam?
Sure, ma'am. Hello everyone. My name is Yash Thakur. I've been born and brought up in Nagpur, and I've done my graduation in chemical engineering from Nagpur, and then I did my MBA from IIM Nagpur. Post which I have a work experience of 2 years in a data analytics and a forecasting firm in Pune, and then I left my job to prepare for the civil services. So after attempting twice for the civil services, I could not clear the prelims, and that's when I was looking for some other options. So RBI was always in my mind in the sense that I knew about RBI. So during my MBA days, I had actually participated in a competition called RBI Policy Challenge, and that was the first time like I got to know more about RBI. So before that, the only thing I knew about RBI was like it prints notes. So that was a very layman understanding I had. But after that, I got to know like what is monetary policy committee and how it controls inflation and how the entire process goes. And it was a very enriching experience. And even at that time only, I thought like maybe if someday I get to be a part of this organization, it would be a very good thing. But I did not like think it so deeply at that time. But just a little side thought I had. So I knew, and then during this prelims, before prelims only, the RBI notification came. So I thought, let's apply for this. If I do not clear the prelims, then maybe I can try for this exam. So that's how it happened. So what I did was like this year I could not clear the prelims. So after that I was like very unsure, clueless totally what to do, and very demotivated as well. So, but I still had 1 month left for the RBI. So I thought, like, anyways, I do not have anything much to do. So let's try for RBI itself. So, and that's when I started preparing for the RBI.
Okay, so how was your preparation? What all sources you used for both prelims, mains, and then interview?
Yes. So as I said, like I did not have much time to prepare because I was not expecting like the prelims will go like this and the results will be like that. So I was like very confused. So what I did was, so for the phase one, so I understood that this is just a round to clear. You don't have to master the subjects. You just have to clear. So I did not focusing on understanding like in much depth, but rather consolidating my strengths and trying to reinforce places where I'm weak so that I can just clear the cutoff. So what I did, I just searched on the net and see like what are the topics that come under each heading, like what comes under quants, what comes under reasoning. And I identified certain sections which are easy to do, like syllogism, direction sense. I felt like I'm more comfortable in doing these questions. So what I used to do, I used to go on YouTube, I used to type that topic name, look at 2, 3 classes. They used to give some practice questions, do that, and move on to the next topic. So in that way, I prepared all my fonts, DI, and all that thing. And I was decent in English and as well as in GK as well because preparing for civil services, I was quite updated about the recent events. Maybe not in depth in terms of the factual content because UPSC does not ask factual content, but I believe that if you know the theory behind those things, it's easy to make logical conjectures about like what could be the number or what could be the exact detail. But still, it was a bit random, so I focused on that. So this was for the phase one, ma'am. Luckily, I cleared it. For phase two, actually, I was very confused because I did not expect that I'll clear it. And I had between phase one and phase two, there is actually very less time. You
Yes.
actually don't have any time. So I thought that what needs to be done. So I knew that I cannot complete both the parts. So what I did was that I had already prepared economics portion for my CSC preparation. So I said, let it go like that. I will not prepare anything for the ESI specific because I do not have time. This is one thing that finance and management, which is not part of CSC, and I have also lost touch of it because it was like long back I did my MBA. So what I did, I looked at the previous year question papers and I found out that management theories are something which are asked and they are easy to score. Like if you understand few concepts, you can write about it because after understanding a concept, it's only common sense only mostly. So what I focused was on management theories particularly, and luckily in this year's exam they asked questions on management theories only, the ocean model and all that. So I was lucky enough, and even in the ESI section, actually environment was my favorite subject from the CSE preparation. So they asked questions about environment, like name any three environment protocols or the agreements which have happened in the past. And even essay was, I guess, was on economic impacts of climate change. So all these things I was quite comfortable with. So in a way, I would say I was lucky as well, ma'am. It's not just that hard work paid off, but yes, luck was also a big factor in this entire two phases.
So probably the paper was from your areas of strength.
Yes, ma'am. Luckily, yes, it happened.
Yeah, luckily, yes. So any where you found faced any difficulty, maybe in any subject, and how you plan to tackle it?
For the phase one or the entire exam.
Anywhere, any subject, in any subject you any faced
So
difficulty.
right. So in phase one, I had low. So even though I had like I have given the CAT exam, but for preparing for civil services, you lose touch about all the fonts and reasoning. You do not practice it much. So I could not do it in the time-wise manner. So that's why I said like I focused on things which I felt I'm quite comfortable and easy. And even in the paper, I was like when I started doing the reasoning part, I said I will not look at any other question. First, I will go to syllogism directions. Since wherever I see this question, I'll do them first irrespective of how I feel about other questions, whether they are doable or not. So that was a gamble that everyone has to take in the paper because in first few minutes, if you're not able to attempt few questions, there's sudden drop in motivation. Oh,
Right.
I've already wasted so many minutes, and I will not be able to do. So always start your paper irrespective of which question sequence it is, whether it is in the last, middle, or first. Whatever your strength areas are, always start from there. So this was for the phase one, and luckily I cleared both the reasoning and the quant on the cutoff only, means not very high marks from the cutoff. So I was lucky in that. My English went well, so that's why I could clear the overall cutoff. And then I said in the phase two, I knew that ESI was a risk. It's a risk I took that I will only go with my CSE preparation. I will not go into much detail. But I look at the previous year papers and decided that management theories is something which is very doable. Finance, even if I do, so first of all, I have to first strengthen my basics, and that basics will not be asked in question. The application of that basics will be asked in the question. So then moving on to the next level to go into bit detail, it will take a lot of time. So I decided that finance, maybe I'll put a bit on the back burner. I will just do little bit of basics about that, but rest I will focus on management theories, HR, OB. So I worked on that thing.
Okay, and how about your interview? How was your mock interview and the actual one?
Yes. So interview was actually very stressful for me. Actually, it was the phase where I had to work a lot. Like I worked the hardest in the interview because for the first two phases, as I said, like the time was less, so I did not have much options. But interview, I knew that now that I am in a serious game, I have to just up my ante. So, and actually, I would like to mention I exam B over here as well because I gave mock interview and Sanjeev Sharma sir and Tushar Saha sir took my mock interview. So they gave me very good feedback. In fact, Sanjeev Sharma sir also looking at my profile, he told me that you might be asked some situation-based questions, data, because my profile was in data analytics. So maybe some analytical questions based on real situations. And he even gave me an example for that. And the same thing actually happened in the real interview as well. I was asked a situation-based question, and luckily it went well. And I think that was the only reason where my interview went from moderate to a very high level. So that was very helpful, that feedback. So what I did for the interview was I understood, like from looking at other people's, there were groups, different groups where people were discussing. People had a lot of knowledge, especially coming from banking background. They were like they knew every act, they knew about the banking procedures and all that. And I was completely unaware of all these things because it was not my work profile, nor my work profile, and I've not even read about it. So what I did was that I knew that in phase two, it's about if you have to break it in a simple terms, it's about what do you know and how you present it in the written form. In interview, it's about what do you think and how do you present it in the verbal form, in the communication form. So I focus on it's important to have opinions about things and not just the knowledge. And even during my interview, chairman asked me like, "How have you prepared for this interview?" And I told him the same thing that I focus on having better informed opinions. So that was my strategy. I exclusively focused on having better informed opinions. And to have that, the best way is to listen to other wise people. So I used YouTube very heavily. I used to watch podcasts of eminent personalities, economists, interviews of governors, deputy governors, and I also used to back it up with newspapers to get their opinions, what they are thinking about different things. So it does not matter. Like, let's say, if I have to give an example, it does not matter whether do you know that G20 has how many countries or what are the names of those countries, but you should know like what happened, what will be its impact this year. What do you think? Will it be beneficial for India or not? How the true tax tracks are helping in India's macroeconomic stability and all that. So you should be able to back up with your opinions. And I guess that helped me because most of my interview questions were very analytical based, opinion based, and very less questions were asked from my theory. So that helped me.
Okay, so that's great, Yash. That's very detailed insight in your journey. One question: anything that you feel an aspirant should not do? Because lot of people tell what to do, what not to do.
So actually, a quote comes to my mind. Like I love that quote. So it's like knowing that tomato is a fruit is knowledge, but not putting it in fruit salad is wisdom. So aspirants should look for wisdom rather than knowledge. I have seen many people who focus too much on knowledge. And even I was kind of like that person only. When Sushil Ragre actually told me that you should not focus on too much of knowledge, just focus on the basic things and build upon that because interview will not expect you to be a knowledgeable person like you know about X thing, Y thing, Z thing. But he expects like if you have written X thing in your biodata, you should know about it in detail. It should not be like superficial. If it comes out superficial now, they lose their mood and then interview just drifts out. Like it does not help you consolidate your position. So I think people should more focus on the wisdom part, understanding things. It's okay if you do little things, less things, but understanding it well is more important than doing having a very vast, extensive kind of a study.
Okay. So, Yash, that was really very good experience to share. And I love the code that you shared. I have heard it for the first time. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing that with me. And Yash, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. I hope some of the aspirants may take inspiration and guidance. Just
Thank you.
one piece of suggestion: luck worked for Yash. Don't
Yes, yes.
yes,
I would
don't
like to
rely
give that
on
actually
luck.
a disclaimer. Yes, you should not rely on luck because what happened with me, it was not just luck because there was very heart crushing failures, not in the RBI but UPSC and other journeys as well. And I have learn from them because many things came together at different places for me, like environment. I never studied environment that it would someday help me in phase two of RBI exam. So
Right.
always work hard. It's absolutely like you are very right. Like we should never outsource our success to luck. We should always work hard for it. Yes.
I think for Yash, it was the long preparation during CSC that helped in RBI. So, if you are preparing solely for RBI, I think be prepared for most of the areas, at least looking at the previous year papers.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
You need to be prepared because you never know when the questions will be asked. Because luckily this year they did not ask finance questions, but they can. And even in objective, they were finance question, but they were very basic. But
Right.
in descriptive as well, they can ask, and then it can become a very tricky game. So yes,
Yeah.
we should be prepared for all the areas. It should not like
Yes.
happen like me. I did.
No,
I took a
Yash, you
gamble.
had a great learning and you had a great journey so far, and now you are in RBI, so that's really a big achievement. Congratulations
Thank
once
you.
again from the entire Exam B team and wish you all the best for your future. Thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you,
journey.
ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.